Have an incredible business idea, but don't know where to start? You'll find out in this episode of The Stress Less Show. I'm Carly Myers, a stress management expert. And one thing I hear day in and day out is that we feel like we've tried everything when it comes to stress management. We may have tried the mainstream approaches to managing stress, but have we really tried to get to the root of the issue? Each episode, I bring on experts and leaders to not just put a band aid on your stress, but to actually get to the root. This month, I brought on guests to talk about job security. And the one thing that we haven't talked about quite yet is starting our own business. So I brought on an amazing guest, Emi Kirschner, to tell us a little bit more about what it's like to start a business. An investor, serial entrepreneur, coach, and international speaker, Emi Kirschner is masterfully combines her intuitive abilities with her analytical sense to help entrepreneurs and visionary leaders build businesses that make an impact while doubling revenue. I think that's my favorite part.
Right?
So I'm curious, you've got investor, serial entrepreneur, international speaker. I mean, these are pretty impressive things. How did you get into this line of work?
Well, first of all, Carly, thank you so much for having me on the show. Super excited to be here. And the simple short answer is everything has just built on itself. And if you had asked me 10 years ago, like, would I be here? I would have been like, I have no idea, because my path to entrepreneurship and owning several businesses has been the most windy path you could possibly imagine. It started with my first couple of businesses as a personal chef and caterer. I've worked as a project manager in like a very small marketing agency, boutique marketing agency. And I actually started this business as a health coach. And it very organically kind of circled back and into business coaching and helping creative entrepreneurs really succeed and be profitable. Because of all the different things that I've done. And then because I love talking to people, and my mission is really to be able to touch, as many lives as possible, the speaking and then being able to take on additional projects from an investment standpoint has kind of come into play. And I love taking advantage of new opportunities, and I'm definitely a high risk tolerance person. So when I have the opportunity to, do something and be able to really, make a difference, whether it succeeds or whether it is able to move forward at all, then I try to do that when I can. With the basis that it has to be kind of a creative, sustainable, making an impact for people, because everything is really up here.
Yeah.
So it's really, it's what you're thinking about. And I
love that.
Yeah.
And I love that you're talking about the windy road. I think a lot of us entrepreneurs don't always share the whole road with everyone. But I love that that authenticity is coming out. Like, it was a windy road. And in fact, it makes you so much better. I know we spent some time on the phone prior to this when we first met, and I got to hear the whole story. And boy, is it a story. And I love that all of that experience has led you to where you're at today. So What do you recommend for someone who's starting their own business?
One, first of all, the list is really long, so I'm going to keep it short. Don't overthink it and just go for it, and don't stop at no. So, for instance, I almost started a farm to table restaurant. I loved catering. I wanted to do something where I could really show people, and this was over 10 years ago, but I wanted to show people that organic, healthy food could taste amazing. And I spent a year and a half and, like a dissertation length business plan and, and working with architects and contractors and everything to create this space, and it didn't happen. And part of it was because I initially couldn't get the loan that I wanted. It was, 2009, the market had crashed. The SBA wasn't, you couldn't even buy a business loan, never mind just get a regular one, right? It was impossible. And I didn't stop, and I didn't stop, and I didn't stop. And I finally got the financial backing, and then ended up walking away because the space I was looking at just wasn't working. But that type of perseverance and persistence is really what makes most entrepreneurs, because most entrepreneurs have more than one business experience or business ownership experience, whether it worked or it didn't work. It's that they consistently keep trying new things, and they just figure it out. They're problem solvers. Yeah. And that's so important. whether you're starting your own business or you're in another job or you're looking for a job, just keep going and be creative.
Yeah, I think that's one of the most common things that I hear, or I heard when I first started, was a lot of no's, and it's easy to question yourself and be like, am I in the right place? Am I doing the right work? But it really, at the end of the day, is persistence. I don't think either one of us would be here if we hadn't have
Yeah.
uh, kept plowing through those no's. And yes, it'll become a yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And really the mindset shift to have it is like, no matter how many no's you get, just remember you're one closer to the yes.
Mhm.
Like,
Yes.
so important because it'll happen. I mean, I think Jack Canfield said that and he wrote the Success Principles, but he's also the kind of the founder and the catalyst for the Chicken Soup for the Soul. And for the Chicken Soup for the Soul books, like I think he had gotten 111, 112 rejection letters from publishers before somebody would finally pick it up.
Yeah.
And like that's persistence.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
we think like, oh, one or two no's. No, this is, yeah, like that level is like being prepared, counting down, right? Those 112 or 113 or even more no or less, no's until we get to the
Right.
yes.
Right. And the other thing too is that starting a business can be really lonely and isolating, and you can feel like you're in like the dark about so many things and you're learning as you're going. So it's so important to surround yourself with what I refer to as your life and your business team. And those people aren't necessarily your friends and family, but they're the people that you meet and you start developing relationships with that are going to support you and your crazy idea, and that can and back you up in the persistence piece of continuing to move forward.
Mm.
And for me, at least, particularly with the life team, that looks like my financial advisor, my accountant. I have a couple of friends who make sure that I do like social things, and other friends that are really just great. Like, hey, I have this idea, and does this make sense to you? And we can flush it out and kind of get into the nitty gritty details, even if it's totally off the wall. They're great at like just going in, deep diving into the details of that and making it work and like making it a reality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That reminds me of when I first started my business. I had a really, really hard day, and I texted two of my good friends, one of which was more of like had an entrepreneurial spirit, one of which didn't really understand the entrepreneurial world. And I texted them both the same message, which is like, I think I'm going to quit. I don't think I'm cut out for this. And one said, it's okay. Like, it's okay to give up. Like, it's like, yeah, it's hard. And the other person was like, what? Your dream, like you absolutely have to do this. And so
Right.
that gave me a very clear picture of like, all I needed was a little support, right? On, okay, the person who gets me, the person who understands the vision, they should
Right.
be on my advisory board. So I absolutely love that tip.
Yeah. It's like that is so key in having that, because regardless of how quickly you build your business, and really in any other thing, like you want somebody that's just going to help back you and understand what your dream and your passion is. And that leads me really into the last tip, and that's managing your monkey mind. Like we have 60,000 thoughts a day, right? And most of them are not going, hurrah, you're awesome. And that's what causes so much stress, is we've got this little person in the back of our head going, you suck, this is crazy, you can't do it, who are you, it's going to take too much money, you're not doing it the right way, blah blah blah. Like, I mean, the list is endless. And if you listen to that, then it's so much harder to be successful. It's so much harder to get out of your way and do things differently. And to be successful, you have to get into your own comfort zone.
Oh my goodness, absolutely.
Yeah.
So thank you, Emi, so much for coming on the show. For those of us who are listening who want to find more of you so they can get more information, maybe they want to start their own businesses, where can they find you?
Oh, absolutely. So I would invite everybody to come play with me on Facebook, join the Tribe of Leaders Facebook community, and come hang out, as I said, and ask questions. We have a really cool group of entrepreneurs in there.
Awesome, awesome. So this episode was sponsored by the Tribe of Leaders Business School. Are you ready to be the CEO of your business? Become a founding member of the business school when you join before October 4th. You can visit thetribeofleaders.com for more information and to sign up. So this concludes this episode of the Stress Less Show, and we'll see you next week.